are a lot of broken bricks, glass and wood. Take a look at this gaping hole in the side of the church. This is where the car ran directly over a gas line and no lives were lost. And he tells me now he simply left to pick up the pieces. We're live in Beaumont. Ellie Cano, 12 News HD. Orange firefighters are still trying to make sure that this fire is completely out because it sparked back up this morning. While we were standing out here, the fire had started back up in a hot spot in the attic. Many people believe teaching a young child about a gun will only be for their benefit. Taking the mystery out of the weapon so the child knows it's not a toy. If you don't want to see this type of red, white, and blue this 4th of July, be responsible and pass your keys to the person appointed to stay sober. Police say it was around 3 a.m. when they got the call of an attempted home invasion here at this home in the 4300 block of Dallas Avenue. Police tell me that the man of the home reached for his gun and shot at the perpetrators. Right now we're on the downtown exit ramp of I-10, but you can see that there is good news. The eastbound lanes are open. There's an app for that, and I like GasBuddy.com. I've got the app on my phone. All you got to do is enter where you live, and it can pull up the nearest gas prices to you. And a lot of people are probably wasting some gas out here this morning on their commute to work because I-10 from College to Washington Boulevard is closed this morning. The sidewalk will be here running along the East Tex Freeway, and then it'll curve through the intersection running through the median, where it will finally end around here in front of the Home Depot. I'm going to make my own hurricane kit, and we'll stick with the basics. Let's start with some water. I'll need some non-perishable food items. And I can't forget a flashlight and some batteries. We're live in Beaumont. Ellie Cano, 12 News HD.
Some are now questioning the safety of the cable barriers along the interstate. As 12 News HD reporter Ellie Cano explains, experts say those cables saved lives.
4 days later, the destruction that was Thanksgiving morning has been cleared up and carted away.
That's the largest one we've ever had in our district, of course.
Mark Shepard with TxDOT hopes their district never sees a horrific event like this again, but says the situation could have been much worse.
I think not having the cable barrier there would have caused a lot more harm, a lot more wrecks, and even more fatalities. There's no doubt about that.
There are those who believe these cable barriers made the Thanksgiving Day pileup even worse, trapping in cars that weren't even involved in the wreckage, preventing them from leaving for hours.
If the cable barrier wasn't there, you might have been able to turn around and go the other way, but then again, if the cable barrier wasn't there also, you may not have survived that wreck.
A specific cause for the initial crash is still under investigation, though there was thick fog in the area at the time. Shepard says the best thing to do is to stay in your car.
Probably the worst thing you'd want to do is get out into a fog where there's another vehicle that's going to come and hit you.
On the other hand, local law enforcement do suggest getting out of your car in some situations and running as far away as you can from the highway. But as far as these ropes of twisted metal go,
we're a firm believer that those cables did nothing but actually help save lives and prevent even more wrecks.
In Jefferson County, Ellie Cano, 12 News HD.
And Shepard says TxDOT is planning to eventually widen that stretch of highway into 3 lanes. Some daily struggles are over for a Beaumont man who spent the past 6 decades without any fingers on his right hand. 12 News HD reporter Ellie Cano brings us the story of Richard Bricado and how he has a new handle on life.
His grandchildren describe him as half man, half robot, just like the $6 million man. But Richard Bricado didn't always have this high-tech machinery.
Got picked on a lot by kids. That was the toughest thing.
Born with no fingers on his right hand, Bricado struggled for the last 61 years, learning to adapt to life using one hand with the need for 2.
Trying to hold a fork and cut with a knife, you just can't hardly do it.
Everyday tasks the rest of us may take for granted, like tying your shoes or opening a bottle, were almost impossible for him.
The major tasks, I learned to adapt. The small tasks are the ones that really make you mad.
About 4 months ago, Bricado came into Letourneau Prosthetics for a device to help him with his golf game. But Tom Letourneau introduced him to something even better, bionic fingers. The iTouch Digit system is one of the highest advancements in prosthetics in the 21st century. When Bricado moves the muscles in his forearm, that's when the fingers move. A slight flick of the wrist this way means open, and this way means closed.
That's cool.
Up until this point, it was almost strictly limited to soldiers. About a year or so ago, they started opening up to the general public.
And last week, Bricado went to Ohio and was fitted for the life-changing prosthetic.
It's as close to a miracle as you can see man-made.
On Friday, Bricado brought home his brand new fingers and thumb. Now he's looking forward to the little things.
Give me a high five. It's pride, I guess, because I can do something now with his hand that I couldn't do before.
In Beaumont, Ellie Cano, 12 News HD.
Letourneau says Bricado is the only person born without fingers to have the iDigit system in all of Texas and Louisiana.
Police in Orange have arrested and charged 21-year-old Robert Walter Jr. in the murder of his stepfather. 12 News HD reporter Ellie Cano spoke to Lee's mother and fiancé, who say they witnessed their loved one's brutal beating.
It's ripping my heart out. I still don't believe he's gone.
Diane Laurie says it all started when they were celebrating her son's birthday.
A nice family shot. Robert was right there in the middle with everybody.
John Lee and his stepson, Robert Walter Jr., got into an argument over a game. But things got violent when Lee's fiancé came outside.
His stepson punched me in the face, kicked me to the ground, started kicking me in my face, and then his dad tried to step in.
1 minute they were fine, and next to me, my son's laying on the ground, and I knew he wasn't breathing. I knew it.
Still in complete shock, Lori showed us how she says Walter attacked her son.
He just got down in hell and just kept pounding and pounding and pounding on him. My boyfriend had to tackle him like a football player to get him off him.
This isn't Walter's first violent incident. Burgess says because Walter has always wanted Lee to get back with his mother, Walter has been aggressive with her, and she currently has a restraining order against him because of a previous attack.
Out of respect for John, we invited him over for his birthday, and obviously that was a mistake.
Now the family is leaning on each other for comfort, and Lori is holding on to her last moments with her son.
The last thing he said to me before the fight, we had our last dance. He says, "I love you, Mom."
In Orange, Ellie Cano, 12 News HD.
After the assault, Walter fled the scene only to be arrested a short time later at a home on Gunstream Lane in Orange. He's now in the Orange County Jail and charged with murder.